And then he wants
everybody.
Then he wants to
it
rush
was admit
us.
it was late, everybody. Just FYI.
Dude, we're 3 minutes late. Goodness
What
gracious.
kind of Latin woman doesn't have my food ready when I'm done working?
Welcome to the Finance Junkies edition of Thanksgiving, folks. We've got a lot of fun to have on this episode. It's a mukbang episode. We're going to be talking about life. I got some fun questions queued up. We'll be asking these men about their life experiences.
I got
And
one
we'll be
too.
eating.
I got some stuff.
You got some stuff. Okay, so
Today.
first of all, I'm going to start this on Twitter right now.
Brooklyn Lager. There you go. Right from Brooklyn.
All right, I'm doing
Supposedly.
the rum mojito thing from yesterday. That was so bomb.
Dude,
I was
you wanna see what
definitely
I'm
buzzed
drinking?
by the end of
I'm
that.
about to get
podcast.
fucked up tonight, bro. Do
Is
you
that a
see this?
Zinfandel?
That apple juice, bro?
It's not apple juice. This is tequila,
It's
bro.
urine.
That is not tequila. That is not tequila. You're drinking.
I'm getting no. This is Jack Daniel's honey whiskey.
What are you trying to make, like a cold toddy?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's right. Right to the dome.
He's like, shit, apple juice is hard.
Christopher Patel, you got your food, right?
All right, cheers,
Yes, I
you
do.
fuckers.
Here we go. Cheers to the mukbang junkies
Yep.
giving. There we go.
We made it through another goddamn year.
All right, so, Here's what we're
not
doing on
Christmas,
Twitter,
dude.
okay? On X. Everyone's got to participate in this, no matter what. If you're eating right now, we're doing the hashtag junkiesgiving, okay? Right there. You got to post your food. I'm taking a picture of mine right now. You got to post what you're eating underneath it.
Shouldn't it be Junksgiving?
I mean, it could be. It could be.
I think
junkiesgiving.
has a nice ring to it. Happy Junksgiving.
And
I'm
you
having
gotta
a bag
let
of
us
pistachios.
Oh, Vitaly, slow down, Vitaly. It's a kid.
know.
Hold
And then
back.
we'll show the photos live on the pod as well. We'll show the photos live.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so Chris, you have your food. You can start first.
Yeah. I have give me a second.
Okay.
My food's
Vitaly,
not
you
ready.
start first then. What food you got?
I already just said it's
That's
pistachios.
it. That's all you got?
Yeah.
Pistachios? That's it.
Well, I ate dinner at 7, so I'm eating pistachios.
Okay. What'd you eat for dinner though?
Chinese food.
Okay. Cool. Not bad.
Is
I
that
am
code-
eating.
Is that code for you had sex with your wife?
Oh, that's racist. She's
His
Korean.
wife's not even Chinese, bro.
Oh God, stop it.
What a racist, Carlos.
Yeah.
What a
Oh my
racist.
God, dude. Cancel me now.
Okay, here's what I'm eating. Okay.
Well, usually
eating,
I'm saying those comments, so it's only time.
I'm eating macaroni, fried coconut shrimp, and ribs. This is like a
Damn.
classic soul food type of plate. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
nice
Not
bowl
That's
bad.
a real
spread
plate.
you got there. You got your.
This is a
carbs.
real plate. This is a
Where'd you
real
get that?
Thanksgiving plate. You know what I'm
Where'd you
talking
get that?
about?
What was
That'd
it
be
called?
good.
Okay.
I got
Hold on,
ribs.
what-
Oh, Junkies Giving. I'm tweeting it right now.
Junkies giving or Junksgiving?
Junkies Giving. Show your plate below.
Yo, do you guys remember when we were debating / arguing what we should name this show? What the other name was? Me and
We
Vitaly
never
were-
debated. Chris
I
came up
guess
with the name
Heinzie
and-
is.
No, we were going at it. On
You
the,
like women,
on the
Heinzie?
WhatsApp.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Where is he? Heinzie.
I love eating Korean, and I don't mean food. So,
Oh, yeah.
I don't-
See?
I don't know what it
That
means.
was a bit sexual, Heinzie. I'm not gonna lie.
Heinzie, yeah, we know what you mean.
Vitaly's like, get my wife's name out your fucking mouth,
Out of your ketchupy mouth.
out of your ketchupy face. Oh, here we go. Look at the
Junkies
serving.
Giving. Junks Giving sounds better. What?
serving.
No, it doesn't. Junkies
What?
Giving sounds better. Junks Giving.
Junksgiving, I think sounds
Weird.
way better. Junksgiving sounds better because it's just easy. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Thank you so much.
Okay, there we go. We got some food.
Oh, thank you. Besito.
Was she hiding behind the screen?
Don't hide. Oh, she's hiding. Come okay. Yeah. Oh, come here. Come here. Thank
He's
you.
trying to.
Aw, that's so cute, bro.
I see you. All right. There's my food.
All right, what are you eating?
I got, what do I got here? She made me ground meat with some pasta.
She put
All
some
right, so we're doing
dog-
Junksgiving
dog
instead
food
of
in his
Junkies.
plate.
We're doing Junksgiving.
Not bad.
All right, fine. We're doing Junksgiving. We're doing Junksgiving.
Woo! Junksgiving, guys. Happy Junksgiving.
I just tagged you guys. All right, so we're gonna be talking about a bunch of fun stuff on this episode, life stuff, and you know, just get into it. I think we'll start the question off with this. Okay. How can you? This has been a year of us doing this, basically a year. We started this really November 2022. Can you describe how thankful you are for this like community we built or podcast? I guess what is your thoughts a year reflecting on kind of what we built? How would you answer that? Let's start with Vitaly. Go ahead.
You got to start with me.
Sounds like the one who has no emotions. You got to start with me. Yes, you got to start.
He's thinking of the grouchiest thing that he could say.
Yeah,
He's
you
like,
got to
"I
give me a
fucking
minute.
hate
You got to
you
give me a
guys."
minute.
He's like, I got a reputation to hold
What's your
up
question
here.
again?
I guess like, obviously you're thankful for what we built, but like any other comments you can say around?
It is
the
cool.
community.
Okay, so I'll be sincere for a minute. Why not? Why not? It is really cool that there are 500 or so people that watch us basically on a daily basis. It's kind of crazy. 3 to 500, and they actually want to hear what we say. So that is significant, and the fact that we can help people. We're not giving financial advice. I want to make it clear, but the fact that we can entertain people at least and be interesting to watch is, first of all, that's fascinating to me that it's actually happening. I think me and Carlos talked about it for years, right? We've been talking about on our channel how cool it would be when it happened, and it feels like it's actually happening.
But you know what though? It happened so slow that it didn't.
It happened so slow that.
But by the time it did, it was like it didn't.
That's what she said.
You know what?
Yeah.
Look, I went on Discord the other day. I haven't been on Discord in a minute. We have like 1,000 people on our Discord now.
Yeah,
There's like
wow.
1,000 freaking people. Do you know how hard it is? I mean, at one point it was me, Vitaly, and Joe Bus Life talking about lemonade for like a month. Just on Discord.
Lemonade and Enphase, those 4 guys.
That was it. That was it.
But yeah, so it's really kind of amazing. We want to thank you all. Obviously, we hope everyone's healthy and safe, and a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Because even though we disagree, I think someone posted that that me and Chris are not friends because we disagree. I fight with Carlos all the time. I fight with Chris all the time
because we disagree all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
no, him and Chris are fine. It's me and Vitaly.
When I go to sleep, I am fine. Nobody's crying at night. Everybody's moving on, and we're all friends at the end of the day.
Yeah, because you're the one doing the attacking. What are you? What are you talking? It's like I'm good. I'll just attack you guys tomorrow. I'm like,
all right, I'm trying to be sincere, and this guy is, Anyway, so I think it's all good. I think it's been amazing that we can do this for a year, and we'll see if we can do it for 10 years.
Ooh, 10 years.
Chris, what are you eating?
Chris doesn't hold anything for 10 years. He'd be out after like
Spanish rice.
Yo, this
3 years
option-
max.
this
Then he's
It's over.
going to become a free agent. There's going to be a draft. Some other finance channel's going to take Chris.
Well, he's already found Matt Money.
He's already hedging his bets, bro. He got Matt Money. He's hedging his bets.
true,
Like,
and they had, like,
these guys
100
fuck
viewers
up.
the
I got
other
another
day,
podcast.
like, yo.
Spanish rice, chicken, and elote corn.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
That's good.
Carlos, what does this community mean to you?
Freaking hour of my day. I'm not going to get back. Every single day. 5 hours. Like
I second that. Actually, it's an hour and a half. I wish it was an hour only.
Yeah, when you consider it all, 5 hours out of my kid's life that I don't get to see. No, it's a lot of fun. I think we said it at the end of the Jeremy podcast that I'm super busy, man. I've always got a lot going on, and I was really surprised that we have been able to be fairly consistent getting that 1 hour per day.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I think I'll speak on it, then we'll have Chris go. I think this is just so cool, bro. Because I tried to start a podcast with my boy David back in I graduated college, so 2020, and it was so tough. It was so hard. We were not consistent, even though we were doing an episode a week. But as I realized, you can't do an episode a week and expect to like make it at all. It's just like it was just so much trying and figuring stuff out that once I finally got into the finance space on YouTube, I was like, you know what? I learned a lot of shit from trying to do like a pop culture podcast back then. If I have the right talent, which are you guys, and we have the right chemistry, which it just magically kind of happens sometimes, and we are consistent, maybe we can build a community. And I think we did. And, Vegas was an example of that. So this is super cool, super awesome to do every day.
Yeah.
Chris, what does this all mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, at this age, you don't typically think that you're going to be able to build more. And kind of at this point now, it's kind of proven that we've been able to successfully create something much later. Because YouTube and everything else tends to be a young person's game where you need to have this drive and the energy to do it. And then also at the same time, you need to be in the know about a lot of things. So I think you guys being much later in your lives, me being in the middle of mine, and I met you being the younger just
We're
gives
at
a
the end of
Damn!
our-
Ow,
what the
Chris.
fuck?
we're at the
Now-
we've
now
got
that
the
Old ass
perfect mix.
motherfuckers, bro.
He's like, you guys
We've
being
got the
sort of
perfect
have
mix.
like 1 foot in the grave. Me.
So we've got like the perfect balance of
You all
timelines
nearing
where-
retirement.
So it's just an interesting dynamic that we've got going. I think we've been able to successfully do this for a year, which you can see a lot of finance YouTubers and finance channels. They don't necessarily last as long because there's always something that comes in between the people. And hopefully that's not something that ends up tearing us
Well-
apart. You know, that
Well,
we
you
can
know what
keep
comes in
going with
between
it.
the people? It's usually money. We don't make any. So I'm waiting for the day.
What are you talking about? Chris is up 270% somehow this year.
That's true.
No,
Chris has
I'm
made some
talking about
money
the
this year.
channel. I'm talking about
Oh,
the
that
channel.
channel doesn't make
Yeah.
dick.
You guys have made $1,200. Okay, that's not horrible.
A
Alright,
whole year of
1,200.
work, $1,200.
It's 1 hour a day, and you get you got 1,000 Twitter followers.
You know, it's
You
funny the
smile.
long term minded people here are complaining about, oh, we don't make enough money. Like,
But
come on.
That's
what?
true. You have a good
Were you
point.
expecting?
Good
Were you
point.
expecting to right out the gate become Tom Nash and make $100 million?
I'll let you finish, but obviously that's why we put in the time.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's true.
I mean, I'm totally kidding, but that $1,200 isn't even one payment of the Model X, just for the record.
That's
So
why no one's
that's
buying
why
fucking Teslas right now. That's the issue.
you know.
Okay, so we're gonna have some fun questions about life. You want to start off with a deep question or like a silly question? What do you guys want?
Why don't you keep it light?
Keep it light. Okay. Okay. First, girlfriend. How did you ask her out? How'd you ask out your first girl? And not even a girlfriend, just a girl you wanted to take on a date. First date. If you can remember that back far, 900 years for the geezers in here. What was your
Well, why
first
don't you
date?
just ask your mom's how it went? Because she said yes.
Yeah, ask your dads too.
Mm.
Okay, what was your first date? Who wants to go first on this?
I didn't even know I was on my first date.
Exactly. Who does like an official date?
You know, I didn't wear a condom one day, and our son's name was
God.
Amit.
All right, I'll go first. None of you guys want to do it. My
No, I'll
first
go
date.
first. I don't care.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
All right,
you got it.
so I was this girl had asked me like to go to Fridays in Midtown with her, like, you know, like Fridays a restaurant. I'm like, okay, sure, you know, it's a friend, why not? So we're there, we're eating and everything, and you know, I'm fucking broke at the time, so I bring enough money, and I'm looking at the menu, and I'm like, I'm gonna pay for my half, she pays for her half, right? I was very progressive even when I was younger.
Nice. You were already you were red.
Not out of
I
necessity.
believe it's
but
called
I was
cheap,
just-
Chris.
I was poor, not cheap. You gotta remember, I was doing homework for people for money, dude. So
Damn.
we go there, we have a nice date. I didn't know there was a date, and at the end of it, you know, the bill comes, and she looks at me, and I'm just like, "Here's my half," and she's like, "This is our first date, and you're telling me that you're gonna make me pay half?" And I'm like, "We're on a date. I didn't bring enough money for a first date." You know, she's like, "Why do you think I just randomly asked you to come with me to Fridays of all the play?" And I didn't get the hint. I didn't get the clue. So, you know,
So did you still split it or you paid for it?
I didn't have money. She had to pay for some of it. Shit, that's how it works. I
That's
paid
fair.
the max I could, which is like $20 something, and it's her fault that she spent more money. Shit, I was very economical. I was like, let me get the sampler. That's the key. Let me just get the sampler.
Yeah,
Did you still get her that night?
Huh?
Did you still get her
No,
that night?
I was in high school, bro. No.
Okay. I'll go. My first date was I was December 26, 2014. Yes, I actually remember it. It was in New York City. And we went to see a
26th?
movie.
Wait,
December. It was the day after Christmas. Yeah, that's why I remember it, because we were planning to hang out.
He's
the
like,
day
I
after
was in
Christmas.
the return line for at Best Buy, returning when someone got me, and I met this.
No, it was this girl who she was like, yo, it was so funny because she was on the debate club with me, and we were just sitting in the debate room one day. She's like, oh, do you want to go to the movies during Christmas break? I was like, sure, let's ask all the other guys. And she was like, no, just you and me. And legitimately, this is how it went down. I was like, just you and me? She was like, yeah, just you and me. I was like, okay, sure. And then we went to the movies, and then we just walked around New York City. We got some Japanese food, and we went to Central Park, and we just walked around there. And it was fun. It was a fun date. We kissed at the end. It was a cool thing. We actually kissed at the movies, so that's when I realized, oh, this is really a date. Like, this is happening. And then that's it. So that was it. Someone said Amit's first date was in Vegas with Kelly. Yo, fuck you guys, bro. I'm 26 years old. Fuck you guys, bro. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, it was at 25, guys. That was last year.
That was the 1 year anniversary of your first date.
All right, Callie, your first date.
First date. Well, I'll tell you an interesting date. How about that?
Okay.
So I went out with my long-term girlfriend before that we dated for a long time, 10 years. We broke up once in between there. But the very first week or so, I think we went out, and it was summer camp. I think Carlos was there. He worked at that camp with me.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
Jewish camp, in fact. Carlos worked in a Jewish camp.
Yep.
Trying to pick up all the Jewish ladies. So
I've been trying to marry a Jew for like 20 something years.
He's trying to get in the club.
And it didn't happen.
So I went out with this girl, and we date. Obviously, we started to date after that. But the date I remember is we went to the Bay. I don't know if you remember Caesar's Bay. We walked on the boardwalk. You know, it was a very nice date. It was just basically, it wasn't even a big dinner. It was just like a walk, talk, hang out, that kind of thing. And then when we laid down on the grass, I remember her hand going down and touching the tippy top there. That was the date. And I was like, oh, I like this girl.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the date.
But on the grass in Caesar's Bay?
That was in Caesar's Bay.
You got a hand job at Caesar's Bay. That's
I got a hand job.
That's why you named it occasional hand job. That's why the band was.
I got a handy at Caesar's Bay. No completion. Okay, just want to point that out. I mean, it's like I'm off of this pod. All right, Carlos, your turn.
Carlos, you're up.
We had a lot of fun on those benches.
The
at
tippy
Caesar's
top.
Bay.
That's right.
If you walk about like a mile and a half down, there's like nobody there.
V, that's funny. James V, that's a cliffhanger. Yeah, I was. There's no completion of that one.
I'm like, I don't really remember my first date because dates weren't really like official back then, I guess.
Yeah, it was just like hanging out. It wasn't like a date.
Just hang out, yeah. Like I've been a bunch of them, but I do remember one. I'll tell one kind of special date. When the internet first came out, my boss at the time bought me my 56K modem, and I was able to actually sign online for the first time.
Boy.
So I went online, and there was this thing called Love at AOL, which is like the first dating app, I guess. And I put up a profile picture, and I started talking to a bunch of people, and I met this girl. She was this Egyptian chick who was a twin sister, and she was awesome. Like honestly, she changed my life, like the direction of my life. I learned a lot just from being with her that stays with me even until today. But we always kind of had like a special relationship, and so I wouldn't kiss her like on our dates. I wouldn't kiss her, and we met. I would say we met around like in October. And we both kind of just knew without saying anything that our first kiss would be New Year's Eve at midnight. So, but we never said anything. So we'd go to the mall, we'd hang out. I'd always just give her a hug. We just knew that it was going to happen. And so on the day, on New Year's Eve, we met up. We went to, what was that park? Madison Square Park in New York City on 23rd and 6th. We went there and we built a snowman because that was part of it. And I had my video camera. We were like documenting our relationship. And we built a snowman. And then we went to Times Square, 42nd Street and 8th around there and got a spot for like the ball drop. And we ended up staying there. We met a bunch of great people while you were out there, people from all over the world that flew in. Anyway, and we had that moment at New Year's Eve at midnight. I just turned to her, gave her a big ass kiss. And then I reached out in my pocket and I pulled out like a ring pop. And I asked her, I was like, do you want to go steady with me? And she's like, oh my God, yes. So then all of a sudden, like a big circle opened up around us as all like the confetti came out. It was actually a pretty cool.
Going
How long
steady.
did it last?
Yeah, I was joking at her.
With
With her, I'd say we lasted maybe about a year and a half, maybe
Okay.
maybe a little
not
more
bad.
than a year and a half. No, it wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad at all. But it was one of those perfect moments. We both knew that was going to be our first kiss. We did. We had the confetti coming down, big circle of people clapping for us, and then we went and sat in Dunkin' Donuts for an hour trying to warm up.
That is some serious willpower. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question. Do you think going to the ball drop on New Year's Eve is worth it, or it's just too many drunk people? It's
Once in your life, do it once.
You gotta do it once. Yes.
but
Then
what's
after
the
that, it's
benefit
never
of seeing
worth
the
it
ball
again.
drop? Like, what's so exciting about it?
It's not that. It's being there
It's an
live
event.
with the energy.
Mhm.
It's like Going to a show versus seeing a video.
First of all, it's worse now because now they block everything, way more blocking things off. It used to be way more open. We would get right to the front. It'd be packed, of course, but you can go anywhere. It was like a party in the streets.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's worse now, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the first date question.
What's your first rejection? What was your first rejection?
That's a good one.
I still remember my first rejection. Devora Unger. That was her name.
Oh, he just outed her.
High school.
Whatever. Wait, hold on. Her name is Devora.
Everybody look up Devora
Yeah,
Unger.
Twitter mob, find her and take her
I don't
down.
even know if that's her. I don't even know if that's her real name anymore.
Is she white?
But, huh? Yeah, she's white. She was white.
Okay.
So I'm in high school with her. Me and one of my friends, we're always like hanging out every day. And so one time I'm like, hey, listen, do you maybe want to go see a movie or something? Right. And I don't know why. She was like, no. And the way that she said it was like this like disgusted no. And I was like, okay, whatever. And it's funny because every time we'd go study in the library, she would like put on her fucking sweater. Like I was staring at her tits or something. Like, bitch, I just asked you on a date. Doesn't mean I'm trying to like get with you now all of a sudden. So that kind of just like destroyed the friendship. And like I never forgot that. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like after that, it really like made me not ask girls out anymore. And that's why when this girl asked me out on a date, I was just like, whatever, okay, cool. So it's one of those things that I don't understand that about girls sometimes where it's like, well, technically now as an adult, I understand it. If they like you, you could like say like, hey, bitch, the fuck you doing Friday night? Let's fucking go out. And they'll be like, okay, let's do it. And if they don't like you and you say like politely, like, hi, I would like to take you on a date, they'd be like, oh my God, you're creepy.
Dude, girls
know.
want what they cannot have. I think that's an objective truth about human existence.
Yeah.
Girls want what they
But you could say the same about men. That's a huge.
I mean, yeah, you could, but like for girls, I think it's bigger. I think it's like if you're a bad boy or whatever.
He's like, I don't care. I just want to be mean to girls right now.
No, seriously, bro. Like if a girl doesn't want me, a guy would be like, all right, fuck it, I'll move on. If a guy doesn't want a girl, she'll be like, I'm gonna go chase him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's different.
I think for me, the part that really sucked about it was like she thought I was a creeper for asking her on a date, and I'm like really? That's the part.
Isn't that high school? Right?
Yeah, it's high school.
We're all weird. Everyone's weird in high school.
I know. But the thing is, like, even as adults, sometimes it does happen where if a guy, like, and this is one of the reasons why, like, you have to be very careful at work. A lot of times people will try to develop this romantic relationship at work because, they think they're getting signals from this one person. And then it's like, oh, let me ask Susie out on a date or something, like, it's just like, and then they go. And then all of a sudden the next day you're fucking with HR. You know what I mean? You have to be very careful. Thank God I never was in a position to ever make that a thing because I was new from the thing because of my Army days. Do not fuck around with people that you work with, because that never ends well from the beginning to the end. Because if anything happens, automatically you can be labeled as something and you could be a problem. And then HR has to decide, okay, which one do we keep? Do we keep this one or do we keep that one? And most of the time, us being men, we're the ones that have to take responsibility and let go. So, for guys, if you find a girl at work, she's giving you those signals, bro, screw that shit.
Get her fired,
it's not worth it.
Get her fired and then hit her up and then slide in her DMs.
I disagree. If you're at work and you find somebody and you actually hit it off, that's a good place to find somebody.
I was gonna say, don't a lot of people find each other at work?
Yeah, at work.
I mean, I get your point.
Listen, you spend more time at work than any other place.
Yeah.
And that's actually something that I feel really bad for people that aren't freelancers. That's not something that I've really ever had to really deal with because I go from job to job. But I could not imagine having that sort of rule at a place that you work. That's like you're not allowed to find anyone that you work with attractive. I don't know. That's something that I don't agree with about like corporate America. And I actually feel bad for the people that have to work in an environment like that because those people at work, I get what you're saying. Like if it goes bad, there could be problems, but like those people at work fundamentally understand you better than even your girlfriend or spouse or whatever outside of it. Cause you just spend so much time together. And I don't know. I feel bad.
I'm not getting me too, bro. It's just, hey, how's it going? That's it. Like, let me do my job. Like they're not, I don't, when it comes to women, we have a separate WhatsApp group for just us workers that are just guys because we just had this really long relationship where we just know each other and we could say shit to each other. But with a female colleague and coworker, we don't know what their level of, like okayness is with something.
You don't know where the line is.
So the thing is, it's better just to say, you know what, let's keep it very professional between us. We don't need to have a relationship outside of work. So, it's not that we don't want to invite her to things or invite them to things, but it's just one of those things. Like one of the guys that I know, when he drinks, he becomes belligerent. And I'm like, bro, this guy's been working 20 something years. Get a couple of drinks in him and he'll lose his job and lose his entire fucking like career because he's being a dumbass. But so it's like, no, yeah.
You got to be careful on those WhatsApp groups because a lot of girls actually use guys' names and then show up in the chat and act as guys so that they can hide.
I mean, it's a closed group. It's a closed group. So you couldn't tell, like, it's not like we
just heard it that some people do that.
Yeah.
Even on YouTube, people do that.
Yeah. No, our group is like, there's like a core group of us and we know each other. We've worked with each other for 20 years. And it's not that we don't want to include her. And it's nothing like, it's not a work related group either. It just happens to be that we all met through work, So I think that's where this is one of the unfortunate realities with the Me Too movement, that it's kind of like put the fear of God in men, especially, so that now when it comes to work, we keep it 100% professional. We don't cross that line at all. At least I don't.
You have a point because I was talking about like 20 years ago when I was actually in the workforce at Bloomberg, and I did date somebody there. After I broke up with that long-term relationship, I dated somebody at Bloomberg. I ended up breaking it up and she ended up hating me, but that's a different thing. And but that was like the best.
Wait, was she also Asian or was she white? Was she Asian or white?
She was actually Filipina. Yeah. Hot.
Okay.
But
Filipinos are hot. No.
But anyway, but nobody complained to HR, and that didn't happen. We moved on with our lives. It was over. But I think now it could be a different story. I think now if you cross the wrong woman, it's over. Basically, your career could be fucked. I agree with that.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, HR actually has policies now too. Like there are inter-work relationship policies that are very, very strict. That says, okay, there's a certain level of interaction that you're allowed to have, but then it's also like, okay, outside of work, how much? And especially when you put the dynamics of the superior and the worker in the mix, it comes even more complicated. I remember I was a supervisor, and one of the new people, like girls that she started flirting with me, and I was like, I'm sorry, like that's not gonna work for me. Like you need to not do that. Like, oh, but you're just one of you're just like one of us. Like I used to be one of you guys, but now the whole dynamic changes, and it sucks because even when you go from like regular worker to supervisor or a manager, the whole worker dynamic changes, and it's not that you want it to change, but it's just how you have to be, because anything that you do could be misinterpreted as favoritism. Anything that you do can be misinterpreted as
so this makes sense, but don't you think it's kind of hot for like a manager to and the employee? Like,
it is hot, dude. I'm not gonna lie,
hot, right?
it is kind of hot, dude. Who doesn't fantasize about just chilling and the secretary is like, hey, how's it going? I need a raise, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do for that raise?
Oh,
oh
ladies, God. Don't work for Christmas.
Okay, my first rejection was a girl named Samantha Tumblety. Okay, 5th grade. I had this insane crush on this girl, and then all my friends were like, yo, just ask her out, just ask her out, just ask her out. There was no way in hell she was gonna say yes to me. And at the lunch table, I go up to her, I'm like, hey, do you want to go out? And she just looks at me, she's like, no. And everyone starts laughing, bro. It's like, I was just like, damn, that was straight up rejected. She was like, no, I do not want to go out with you. We were in 5th grade, it was so stupid. We were like 10 years old.
You were asking,
I remember that. And then she ended
5th grade, bro. That's early. That's early, dude.
I guess my generation was early, bro. I mean,
5th grade.
I don't know. 5th
bro,
grade.
I was still watching fucking Power Rangers and shit.
It's just hanging out.
Yeah, but
I had my first kiss. My first kiss in kindergarten. I kissed Dana.
Yeah, but Carlos, that doesn't count, bro. Kindergarten.
Ask her. You tell me that doesn't count. She was.
She still can't walk.
Wait a second.
She still has it.
What the hell is going on here? Like y'all got
a limp.
She was so cute. I was just in love with her. I would like share my applesauce with her.
Oh, what does that mean,
dude? How do you remember that
in your window?
Yeah.
And then,
bro, that's the one that got away in kindergarten.
Yeah. And then I ended up kissing her at the Cubbies.
No, I did have one that like
1 hour later he was arrested.
Okay, interesting. I had one.
What are you answering?
I had a girlfriend in first grade. That was my actual first girlfriend. Her name was Courtney. I've been trying to find her for years on Facebook. Her name was Courtney Dornango, and I couldn't find her, but I remember her. She had
Names
a
are
dog.
dropping here left and right.
Yeah,
No one's gonna be able to find her, bro. I tried. Like I really tried to find her. She was a white girl, blonde hair, and she loved Hillary Duff. And so I remember going up to her in first grade. I remember like it was yesterday. I was like, I have Hillary Duff tickets to like the concert when Hillary Duff would like perform. She's like, oh my God, can we go together? And I'm like, yes. And then we just get to talking in first grade. And then I remember going home and I told my dad, I have a girlfriend. And he starts laughing. He's like, what girlfriend? He's like, this girl, Courtney. And he just plays along with it, right? Because it's so innocent. But I've never been able to find her. She moved away after first grade. And I want to talk to her again, but I've never been able to talk to her. So
he's like, you see me now, bitch? I got 20,000 subscribers. Shit. Now you
Got a
maybe
podcast,
regretting saying no to the Kook Reja.
So it's funny because my kid, who's 11, turning 12, he doesn't like girls right now. And so we were talking. He's going to tennis today. And I go, so you're going to tennis? You're going to go have fun and play? He's like, no, there's 5 girls there. I'm like, you lucky dog. Okay. You got at least a 20% chance now. So I started going into a math lesson of like 1 out of 5 will probably like you and all this
numbers game.
Yeah, I said, imagine there's 10% will, all you need is 1 out of 10.
Is he into girls or is he still like,
no, he's not. He didn't take it as a positive that his
Oh.
odds were improving.
Right. He's like, well, yucky.
Yeah, basically.
okay, cool. So let's get to a deeper question. What is one of your, you got to give me the truth here. What is one of your biggest regrets in life? And it can't just be not buying Bitcoin at $300, like real regrets. Like what is a real regret?
Selling Bitcoin at 1,000.
No stock stuff. Give me something real. Give me real, like shit that's going to make us cry, something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to make us cry, you know what I'm saying? But just like something that's real, real regret, like a girl.
I'm trying to be Thanksgiving, and you're making me think of like all the dark.
What do we got to think of regrets, man?
Okay, do you want to skip this question? We can skip this question. You go to else.
If it comes to me,
no, it's an interesting question. We should answer it.
My biggest regret.
I'm trying to think.
Shouldn't we do? Who you should put the link and see if someone would want to share with us their regrets.
No. Let's just do us 4. I don't want to have.
I don't know. Why not?
Okay, so I had a
it's a Friendsgiving, buddy. Okay.
That's
I had
Junksgiving.
I had a core group of friends when I was in freshman year. We used to go play poker at Mendelssohn. Well, I lived in Mendelssohn, but we went to H Quad to play. Was H Quad? I forgot the one right next door. But we used to play poker every Thursday night and Friday, and usually everyone went home on Friday night. So we usually played on Thursday night. And I remember I had joined a fraternity, and for some reason they interpreted me joining a fraternity as I rejected their friendship and that I ended up joining the other guys as a thing. And so there was this giant divide between us. And one of my friends, he sent me an email just outlining like, hey, we were your friends, like you could have hung out with us, like you didn't need to go outside of our friend circle to find like brotherhood and camaraderie with these other guys and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, Nick, like I'm trying to be your friend, but at the time they interpreted that as a really middle of the thing. And now I joined these other guys, which at first I thought were cool and I really liked them, but then I started to have problems later on, and I realized that these guys weren't actually my real friends. Like these guys were just the cool guys on campus, and I wanted to be one of the cool guys. And instead of just hanging out with my normal friends, I was like, oh, I want to be a cool guy. And so the rest of the time I was at Stony Brook, I had fun. Don't get me wrong. I love my fraternity, but I feel like I should not have disconnected my original friends. I mean, technically speaking, they kind of disconnected me. So there's really not much I could have done, but it's one of those things that like, I was at my hospital about 4 years ago, and one of the guys actually was at my hospital and he was with public health. He's like, KRIS? I was like, Jesse? Hey, what's going on? He's like, hey, I'm just chilling. I was like, where have you been, man? I haven't seen you since like the poker days, like X, Y, and Z years ago. And I was like, yeah, just been living life, blah, blah. They're like, you should come and hang out with us. Like we still meet Thursday night, like till this day. 17 years almost after college, not 17, that was like 10 years after college, they all still get together and play poker. And I don't even talk to anyone that I thought was cool at the time. Like, I don't have a relationship.
So you regret the fact that you didn't keep the friendship up, basically, or?
Well, I mean, I didn't get a choice. But the thing is, like, in my quest to be cool, I let real friendships go. You know, that's the thing. So it's never just about, oh my God, I want to be part of the cool crowd, you know? Like, be with like, you ever saw Mean Girls? It's kind of like that, but it didn't work out as happy for me. Where the Mean Girls, like, Maddie wanted to be cool, so she started hanging out with Regina George and the other two girls, but they weren't technically her real friends. You know, they were just like the plastics versus the other people who were her real friends. It's I know it's a weird dynamic, but it is what it is.
Okay. I have another question if you guys don't have any regrets. Like,
actually, I've got a couple of things to say on this thing. Mike Oxhard at 636, not making enough friends in school. That wasn't one that I was thinking about outright, but that's true. Piggybacking on what I said yesterday about like really taking advantage of the time that you have when you're in college. I really focused on like building a network, and I tried to work on being able to be hireable after school, but I didn't focus enough on making like lifelong friends. I have some lifelong friends, but not nearly as many as I could have had if I would have made that a priority. And some of that was that I lived kind of deep into Brooklyn, and a lot of the people were like living in the dorms, and I should have made that more of a priority. I should have done that. But one of the this is going to sound weird. I regret not giving this chick a serial number to a piece of software that I had. and I'll explain the story why. At one point, I was an instructor. I was teaching for a while, and there was this girl that was in my class. She was just stunning. I couldn't take my eyes off this girl. But again, that teacher thing about work, I was not going to cross that line. Anyway, eventually she graduated the classroom, and we sort of stayed in touch, and I was like kind of giving her tech support. And then one day she like texted me. She's like, hey, would you do private lessons? Kind of like you and me, but like, would you do private lessons for, what you taught in class? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So we started hanging out. And then at a certain point, like we just started hooking up. Awesome. I've got to, anyway,
that don't sound like regrets.
But I'm getting.
Yeah, where's the regret part, bro?
Well, I told you what the regret was: not giving a certain person a serial number. So at a certain point, at this point in the existence of software and piracy and stuff, like if you gave your serial number to other people, like at that time they were really cracking down on giving that, and you would get like banned and whatnot. So a lot of my friends that were in the business were like, don't give your serial number to people because it could really come back to bite you. Anyway, long story short, I had a whole software suite that she needed. And she like texted me, she wrote me an email and was like, hey, I really need it. Like mine expired. I'm trying to.
I need your software, buddy.
I really need, she's like, if you know him. And I know that she was basically asking me for my serial number because like she saw the box at my house, but I just didn't even offer it up. And then like pretty soon after that, she just sort of like, we just sort of lost touch. And I just, to this day, I'm like, man, why don't you just give her the freaking serial number? Like she was super cool. Like I shouldn't have listened to my friends that were like, oh, be afraid of, whatever, Adobe and Apple coming after you. It's like,
so if you gave her the number, you would still know her.
The reason why is this, and I think I can say this as someone who's like a relatively up there in the years, is that you don't meet very many people that you will like really click with in your lifetime. You might meet 5 of those people that you just instantly click with and have a really deep connection that goes beyond having common interests, that are just like, you get me, you know what I mean? And she was one of those people. Like, even if nothing would have ever happened between her and I, she was just one of those people that we really got each other, really got each other's humor. She was also really talented at what she was doing, and I would have liked to have been able to help her get where she's got to go, because I think she deserved to be there. So for a number of reasons, I just feel like, and I knew that was the reason why she sort of felt a bit slighted at the fact that like, hey, why aren't you even, because it was thousands of dollars, and it's, but yeah, so I guess that would be a regret. Like when you meet those people, when you meet that person that's like, oh man, you're my freaking, twin separated at birth, really hold on to those people. Because if you meet them young, or like, then you get to have your whole life with them. Even if you meet them a little bit later on, you're probably not going to meet anyone else like that anymore. Like, as me, I'm like, I'm not I'm 46, so I'm not like 50 yet, but I'm staring down 50. I'm not making any new friends. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm rolling with what I got.
The moral of the story is give out your cereals, people.
Give out your freaking cereal,
You
man.
got your Social Security also. I think this is why the pod is so cool because we became like, dude. If I have a wedding, I mean, you guys are gonna be my best men, bro. I don't have. First of all, I have no one else.
We're
Second
not
of all,
making it out
you
of
guys are my guys, right?
I promise you.
I already
man.
said I got to be first standing right next to you, then Chris.
Chris, you
then
got competition.
Carlos can
Vitaly wants
be
to be
wherever he
first.
wants to be.
What do you mean? I'm gonna be. I'm the best man.
I gotta have all three of you, bro. Like, and who how, I could not imagine 2 years ago. I'd be like, yeah, these three dudes I met on a fucking finance podcast I want at my wedding. You know, it's just crazy.
I mean, we didn't meet Vitaly, but dude, when we went to Vegas, when we went to Vegas, there was no awkwardness. I don't know if you noticed that. Like when you have
Vitaly wasn't there.
probably, but there was no awkwardness. Like it literally just felt like I met you guys, but it was like, all right, cool, we're chilling, we're homies, you know.
Went to
So, like,
Starbucks, we got food, we walked around, like it was
so it just ends up becoming like, okay, yeah, you know what? There's something there that, you know, these are my boys, and I can reach out to you guys if I have some difficulty, and it's vice versa. I mean, here's a question: how do you realize that you have a fake friend versus a real friend? What's your measure? What's your benchmark?
fake friend versus a real. I think it's a lot of it. I think is loyalty, bro. I think it's like how much is that friend willing to like stick up for you when shit goes south. Like I remember when KRIS like started selling out of Palantir and everybody, because he started the weekly podcast, and everyone on Twitter was just like, "Fuck
there you
this
go. We
guy,
got the
get him off
stocks,
the podcast,
people.
blah 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 blah."
Took 44 minutes.
We got the stocks. I just remember I wrote out a long message like, "Yo, dude, like KRIS started this shit with me. He doesn't own the stock anymore, but that's not, you know, it's just you got to have some level.
That's how
of,
you know real friends, when they don't sell out of Palantir. That's how you know.
No. When you defend them against like a community of fucking raging animals for them selling, you know what I mean? It's just little things like that. I think it sticks in people's minds of like, no, I fuck with this guy. I'm not gonna leave this guy because the easy thing to do is be like, oh, the community hates you. I'm the community leader, so fuck you, KRIS. Right? Like,
I think what you're trying to say, if I'm going to paraphrase it, is that during the hard times, the real friend is actually there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's also, to me, it's the person willing to tell you the truth. Like, you know, there's a saying, I mean, well, there's a verse in like Lil Wayne's song, right? It's like, my real friends never hearing from me, fake friends write the wrong answers on the mirror for me. That's really like the right thing, because if you have fake friends will tell you everything you want to hear. Real friends will tell you the truth no matter what, because the truth is one of those things that like they're looking out for your best interest. So right now I've had friends that told me, oh yeah, man, everything's, yeah, dude, blah, blah, blah. But then like you realize like, wait a second, this guy was just like trying to get me out the door, versus a real friend who was like, hey, listen, you're fucking up right now. You're wrong. You need to stop. You know, I'd rather have the guys that tell me I'm wrong than the guys who tell me I'm right all the time. You know, because
you found us here.
Genuine. That's the genuine thing. And hey, listen, I'm all here. I'll keep telling you Enphase is a shitty stock. Don't buy it. You know, so it is what it is.
I said you found us here, not the other way around. But
Yeah, I had to go there. I'll tell you something that for me has been a 100% indicator in all ages of my life, in all decades of my life, and a 100% indicator of whether or not a person is a true friend or not. And that for me has been if the person can participate in you giving them good news.
What?
If the person participates in you when you
like
give
they're
them
happy for you, essentially.
That for me has been the number one indicator. With the fake friends that I know, if I tell them something good happened to me, like, hey, I don't know, I'm dating this new chick, or I'm really happy, or I just bought a house, you'll see how they'll try to pivot away and sort of deflect or minimize or give you that moment and then immediately try to like skirt past it. They won't indulge in it, ask you questions about it, and actually genuinely participate in your happiness when something good happens to you. Because even your fake friends will participate in the negative stuff. Like they'll actually participate because they'll be happy to hear it. And a real friend will listen to it because they'll try to help. So you'll always get an ear for that stuff most of the time. But the person that will really participate and enjoy seeing you enjoy something, that's when you know, because it's not something that you can fake. With the fake friends, when you tell them some good news, it draws out the disdain that they have for you, and it becomes they get very uncomfortable when you're giving them genuinely good news. And so they try to pivot away from it. And if you're face to face with them, you can see it, whether like break eye contact or try to deflect or immediately try to one up you with a better story. So you don't have to talk about it anymore. And you go, okay, I get it. So that's been for me like the litmus test that I've used in the 4 decades that I've been alive, is I'll just drop some bit of good news with somebody that's like an acquaintance that you think is going to be a friend. Drop some bit of good news. Tell them something good that happened to you recently and just wait for the reaction.
And I'll reiterate what Carlos said, but I'll say it better.
He's one-upping me, guys.
Why you keep one-upping?
Why you gotta do this, bro?
I just fucking around.
I mean,
I just fucking around.
It's like you push the boundary of friendship. Like, hey, listen,
I do.
right there. Okay.
But I know I really did have something to say. It was the fact that
on your
someone
gravestone,
doesn't enjoy. Hold on.
on your gravestone, it's going to say, just kidding.
Well, no. I was actually gonna agree with you and say basically that when someone doesn't participate happily in your success, that shows a lot about someone.
Yeah, like, okay,
100%.
tomorrow, like all of us will or probably are close to or are some level millionaires. And think about the people that you'll actually be able to tell that to.
You can't tell anybody.
You really can't tell almost anybody that that you've got it like that. So anyway, look, some people in the chat agree. I guess everybody, Astudia, Midwest Canada, all you, Michael Wild, you've all had some fake ass friends. They all, that's what I'm saying. It works every time. It works if you're 10. It works if you're 15, 20, 30s. That's how you can tell.
Einzie, thank you for the super chat. Here's one way to be a friend. Smash that like. And then Orland, I think this is the first time we're seeing you in the chat. Thank you for the $2 super chat.
Orland, is this your first Finance Junkies podcast? Normally we're not talking about this stuff.
Okay, let's do some fun ones. How many shares of Enphase do you have? No, I'm just kidding. Who's your celebrity crush right now? Your wife's not listening. Who's a celebrity you just fucking bang the shit out of right now? Like who's one of those?
Oprah. I told you, bro.
What? Dude,
Oprah, baby.
Kris, that was such a setup for you to say Beyonce. I can't even. Let's
Oprah,
do that
bro.
again.
Lizzo.
When does
Oprah.
Oprah show up to the earnings call?
Bro, I'm beyond the age where she needs to be like like a hot 10, bro. I'm trying to get rich at that point, I'll be Oprah's baby.
He's happy to bang a 4.
I don't care, bro. It's Oprah, baby.
Scott, thank you for the $2 super chat, bro. We love you. We saw Scott in Vegas. We had a great time with Scott. I was so happy to see you, bro. It was awesome. It was awesome. Thank you, man.
Man, really good energy.
All right, who would you smash? That's a celebrity. There's so many out there, bro. There's celebrities. Like literally, it's a dream. Who would you pick? Jennifer Lawrence, we got in the chat.
I'll just pick Margot Robbie. It'll be easy.
Oh, that's a good one.
You're gonna have to fight Amit. You have to fight Amit for that.
She's from Aussie, bro. She's an Aussie. I don't even know who I would pick, bro. I feel like Rihanna is the one, but that's just like so out there.
Rihanna in the prime, like in the umbrella
Rihanna, bro.
days.
Rihanna, goodness gracious.
But no, if you look at her, there was a video that Rihanna did. I don't know if it actually was public, but like Rihanna bought her mother a house, and it was a ridiculous house. And actually, speaking of which, Oprah helped her deliver the keys to this house. It was a whole video. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know where I saw it, but you should get to see her. She's normal looking. She's not like.
But Rihanna's normal looking.
Yeah, like she's like average.
Dude,
a lot of good makeup superstar status. Like,
bro, most women are pretty mid, but once they cake on that makeup, bro, they go like Super Saiyan. You ever seen these transformation videos on YouTube,
they're
TikTok,
scary.
whatever?
Some of them are scary.
Bro, some of them are like
terrifying.
65-year-old, like old,
yes.
And then they put on all this shit and they look like they're 25, and it's just like, bro, I could be walking with a fucking living succubus and I don't even know,
Yep.
This makeup is hard, bro. So that's why we got to buy Elf, transforming lives. Color palette at a time, bro.
Okay, let's do let's do another one.
I got one. This is a little.
Okay.
We'll see how serious you guys take this one. All right.
Okay, what do you got?
I'm gonna this is a little video. I've actually been watching a lot of this. This chick's been showing up a lot in my feed lately. Her name is
On YouTube?
Yeah, her name is Teal Swan. So her YouTube is Teal Swan Official. I actually recommend everybody follow this woman. Apparently, she went through a lot of hardship in her life, and she did a lot of studying. And she's just incredibly insightful. Like, you know how like Pearl was considered like the red pill, the face of the red pill and the female red pilling movement. She is like, I don't know, like the next level of it, because she's
Instead of playing the video, just say the thought, and we'll start the discussion.
well, it's a short. It's a YouTube.
No,
short.
watch
Oh,
it. Watch
YouTube
it.
short. Okay,
That's
okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's not
it's
long.
fine.
That's
I want to know who Teal is.
I don't know much about her. I just started watching her. She's showing up a lot on my feed, and then I actually went to her channel yesterday, and I started watching this video, and the landing page, the landing video on her channel is the one that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's just take a look at this, see what you guys think.
I'm going to teach you something sad about the male race. Men have a behavioral strategy that is a holdover from the cave days, and it looks like conquest. Conquest is the male shadow. It's, I'm going to behave in whatever way I need to behave to get exactly what I want out of this woman. It's not really who I am. And I have some bad news. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying you're going to have to really have discernment. And I realize that when you're starving to death for that closeness, it's very hard to use discernment. If you were starving to death, no water for days, and I was to poison this water and be like, really hard to say no to that, right? But you're going to have to use your discernment. That place in you that wants to drink the poisoned water is void. It needs you badly. It's literally one of the most painful experiences you can ever have, going into that consciously, sitting with the emotions of that absolute desperate, starved powerlessness. But if you sit in that void long enough, it goes away. Then you're not a match to other people with a void. And you can believe that the conquest men, they have a void.
What you say makes sense?
So
I mean, it
conquest, as in
does.
like men are looking for a chase, essentially, right?
No,
That's
what she's
what-
saying is that a carryover from the caveman days is that men have this instinctive, primal, biological urge to conquer. And she was talking about it with respect to like conquering women, but just in general, this is what makes like men like billionaires, right? These guys that want to conquer. And what she's saying is that using a discernment, being able that's our male, that's our shadow, that's all of the male's shadow, and being able to control that, because it will cause you to do things or say things or become someone you are not to achieve your goals. She was talking about it in the sense of conquering women, but if you think about it, it works in almost every aspect of your life, whether it's career motivation or whatever it is, right? You have this urge to conquer as men. This is how men challenge each other, and why men challenge each other, right? Because we want to essentially conquer each other. And what she's saying is, if you sit with that long enough, this need to conquer, and you can use discernment and resist the urge to basically conquer everything and become whatever it is you need to become to conquer, then you will not be a match for the people that still have that need. That void in you will go away. In other words, it's like a path to enlightenment. Like overcoming the need to conquer fucking everything is on the path to enlightenment as men. Now, just one.
But why is it good? What is the bad part about conquering?
The bad part about, well, first of all,
He's like, I don't get it. I want to conquer everything.
He's
I
like,
don't understand. What's so bad about conquering shit?
Like, wait, acquire more.
How many
That's
times
what I
a day
wanna
do you think about the Roman Empire?
No, but you laugh, but that's a perfect example. The Roman Empire tried so hard to conquer, they expanded too far and were not able to keep control of it, and eventually collapsed, right? If they were just happy with whatever piece of the world that they could manage, they could manage overseeing, then they probably would have still existed.
No, but I'm trying to understand her argument, because the nature of capitalism is built on growth and acquisition and territorial disputes, right? Like Zuckerberg's trying to take over the world, Elon's trying to take over the whole electric vehicle market. Why is that bad?
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about those two specific guys,
I'm
because
not sure what she said. I was picturing her naked.
I was like, what the fuck is she saying, bro?
It's this idea that you will sometimes be misleading. You will be misleading, and you will use you will show not the best version of yourself in order to get what you want. That you will do things that are not in your character as a person to get what you want.
But isn't that the point? Like, I have to Like when I wanted Vitaly to invest in my startup, right? And I met him for dinner. I had to act a certain. I
He
couldn't act like
conquered-
an
no,
absolute
no,
idiot.
that's
I had to conquer him.
That's different.
He conquered
Look,
me and
look at
Chris.
it. Yeah, here it is. Listen, look at it in the context. Look at it in the context of what she was saying, conquering women. If you wanted to conquer a woman, you can lie to her and you can disillusion her and you can make her think that you are everything that she wants, and so that you can conquer her. And then you will shatter her worldview once you get what you want and you essentially leave. Now you can apply that to all aspects of your life, whether it's relationships, your relationships with your mom and dad, your sister, and your friends, as well as in investing. And so
I'm not thankful for
Interesting.
this discussion.
For me, the definition of conquering is very interesting because, it happened with work, it happened with other things. But I'll give you the example. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to be director of radiology really bad. I was like, I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to become the director of a radiology department. It's going to be the greatest thing. And as I got older and I started working, I really put in the work, I put in the time. And then right at the finishing line, I remember I got offered 2 different director positions. Like, hey, if you want to take this position, you've got the experience, you've got the drive. And I remember I was just like, you know what? No, I'm good. No, thank you. And the reason why I rejected it was because I realized that everything that I wanted was just a feeling of like knowing that I could do the job. But when I looked at it in hindsight, maintaining that fucking job would be like working 24 hours a day, all the time, being on call. Anything happens, it's your job to deal with it, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't want to deal with the hassle. But all I really needed was just the knowledge that I could have I could have had the job if I really wanted to. And that's happened with me and like girls too. Like once a girl like gives it up, you don't feel attraction to her anymore. And it just goes away. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm cool. That's all I really wanted was just that knowledge that I could have bagged her. And if I can't bag her, then it's like, okay, whatever, I couldn't bag her. But that feeling that I could have is enough for me,
Yo, let me ask you this question. Go ahead. You finish, then I'll ask a question.
I've had several parts in my life. I have never, since I started working, I have dealt with very few beta males. I have almost always been surrounded by incredibly alpha males. And the conditioning of being around only alpha males has made me incredibly competitive, where sometimes the need to win is the only thing that matters. And I know that I've worked in groups, for example, where I could have just done what I needed to do and just let the team just let the team carry it. But I've made it my point to win. And it's not always been beneficial to me in the long run when we go back to like building lifelong friends, because some people have felt slighted or intimidated. Alphas, the thing about alphas is like they want to be the only one. They don't want to exist in a group with other alphas, unless you're like on a football team, right? We're like, we need a bunch of alphas so we can beat this other team of alphas. But most of your life is just your own personal journey. So there's this idea of like, if this guy's doing better, he's taking something from me, right? And having been around and been subjected to, like, it's only sharks, even in my industry right now. I'm only surrounded by sharks. There are no more fish left to feed on.
I'll tell you the reason why is because women have turned us all into sharks too. I mean, I would consider myself to be more of an alpha now than ever in the past. And the reason for that is the women who basically molded me into an alpha. I used to be one of those guys that was a lot more simpish, was like, oh, you know what, let's be friends and blah, blah, blah. And now it's just like, hey, listen, I don't have time for that bullshit. Not anymore. Of course, I'm married, but it's just a very simple yes or no. And if it's a no, then it's a no. And that's it. You move on, So the alphas, what they'll do is they don't like beat between the bush. They don't just do that. They just like go for it. And if it doesn't work, it's fine. Whatever. They move on.
There's only one lion. There's only room for one lion in a pride. That's it. Okay. And that guy wants to be by himself. Yeah. He just wants to be by himself. If you come near him and you have any sort of alpha energy, he's going to kill you. He's going to fight you. And if you win, then you win. And he'll respect it. He'll walk away. But if not, he's going to kill you. So he's trying to put a bunch of male lines together. That's essentially what it's like when you have a bunch of alphas.
Do you want to make us go?
No, that's not true. That's not true. I think what it is you ever see, even on the Discovery Channel, you can see that among a pride of lions, there's always like 3 or 4 guys, like big male lions that get together because they understand that, these are my equals. Like these are not trying to rival me.
I like Baba's comment. Put that up. This pod should stick to providing financial advice.
Oh, this guy, I can't believe we got 300 people here. So there's a little value here. But I want to bring up a point. Because
Can we
Carlos,
wrap it
I
up?
want to bring up the point I actually want to talk for a little bit. V, if you got to leave, you could leave. But
No,
like,
no,
I
go
don't want
ahead.
to. This is a good topic. We can stay for a little bit.
Because
This
this
thing you
I
brought up
have a follow-up to this. I have a follow-up to this that's like, I'm really curious what this answer would be, but only if you take it seriously. If not, then fuck it. I don't even. I just went down that rabbit hole last night, but continue, please.
This thing you brought up in Vegas that I thought was so interesting. Let's see what the chat thinks about this. It goes off your point, which is that you're a man in a competitive ass world, right? You're fighting other men all fucking day, right? People that are gunning for your spot, gunning for your position. They want to beat you. They want to take your money. They want to take your livelihood, right? You're in that cutthroat industry. When you come home to your woman, you want the feminine energy. You want her to be agreeable. You don't want her to fight with you because you're fighting all day, right? And so this kind of idea, I think that you're pointing to is like, if you're with a woman that can give you this solace of comfort without having so many things to fight with you against, whether it's like political opinions or what's going on in the world, it's like, you don't want to do all that intellectual fighting with your wife, right? Because you're fighting all fucking day trying to make a living. You want to come home and actually be taken care of.
Yeah. I've had that conversation with my wife before. When I mean, it depends on what the disagreement is, but I have said it to her before. Like, I am fighting like all day when you're out doing whatever you got to do. I'm fighting other super alpha males that are trying to take me out. They're literally trying to take me out in some capacity, whether it's undermining me at work, trying to undermine me in a group of in my network, whatever it is, or some company trying to charge me more money for something. I am fighting with people all day in order to maintain this little kingdom that we have here. When I come home, and I don't want to fight anymore. I really don't want to fight. I just want to have some food and hang out and have everything be cool. And at the same time, like, I know that like you might want to fight, but you want me to lead. If you want me to lead, you have to let me lead, right? Like, women can be a queen, but there's always a king. Is my idea.
Yeah.
Is my thing.
Agree. My wife did that for me today. I appreciated that. Like, literally, she came home, she brought dinner home, she made all the food, and she was just like, hey, listen, your pod's about to start. I'll grab everything for you. I'll make you the drink and, let you get started. Because she sees how important this is. Let me tell you guys, if it was not for my wife, this pod, the Cash Flow Chronicles, all this other bullshit that I do on Twitter, not possible at all. Because I would have been more focused on work and doing other things. She's the one that always pushes me, like, keep going. Let's keep going. Like, keep going forward. Sometimes I'm like, hey man, I just want to quit. Maybe I just want to just hang around. And she's like, no, you're not the
She's
quitting
like, you
type.
better make that
Keep
money,
going.
bitch.
Not necessarily. No.
Remember, we
But
brought it back. That's how you started off the pod.
She's the type of person that she wants to see my success genuinely. So whenever we get divorced eventually, she will get, according to her, 75%. So she's definitely going to take me to the wood chipper.
So
but
she will be the fifth junkie. That's who will be part of this.
Yeah,
pod.
she'll have to take over.
It's in the agreement, the breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I started realizing that now, like, what's her name? Mackenzie Bezos. She deserves her fucking half. You don't know all the bullshit she probably put up with.
She earned it. She definitely earned it.
She was with him from the fucking beginning when he was still like poor as dirt and literally built him up the entire time. I mean, yeah, he's with his like new whatever right now, boo thing, but it's the old one that really like must have dealt with a lot of bullshit the entire way. That's why she probably deserves it, So.
Yeah, no, she does actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it? Or Carlos, you were going to bring up one more thing and then we're done.
Well, the other point was, again, I went down a rabbit hole and I started watching a lot of this chick's videos, and she brought up this idea. We don't have to watch the video, but it's the why is your best chili? Yeah, but really, you only need that one. If you only need one.
It's meant all our wives.
It's the home video, the video, the landing page on her YouTube channel. It says tutorial for life. And she talks about this idea, right? She talks about this idea that before you were born, right? Whatever it was, the spirit element or essence that you were, you picked your parents and you picked all of your biological traits and you picked the life that you were going to have. And it was really just so that you could experience a certain part of yourself or that you could experience certain things in life. And so this idea that you picked your parents for a specific reason and that you picked the life that you have to learn something about yourself. I was like, that's why I started thinking about that last night. And I was like, I mean, I've heard of that concept before, but the way that she put it in the video was pretty interesting. And so I started thinking to myself yesterday, what is it? If what she's saying is true, make an if-then statement. If what she's saying is true, and I did pick my parents and pick my life, then what the hell is it that I'm trying to learn? Like, what is the point, right? Why did I pick those parents? Why did I pick this? So I don't know if you guys, if one of you guys, no, I thought about it or you want to answer.
Wait, what the fuck is she saying? She's saying you picked your parents? How is that even
What she's
possible?
saying is like, and again, take this as a thought exercise, a thought experiment. Before you were born, you could have picked basically any set of parents in the world, right? That were calculating.
How?
But go with it. Don't ask the how. Just go with it as a thought experiment. You were like a little soul, a little spirit, and you could pick any set of parents on the planet that you could want it to be born. Actually, if you guys have never seen, talking about movies, if you guys get a chance, watch that movie Enter the Void. You guys have ever seen, that guy Gasparno, a French director? Enter the Void will fucking erase your mind, and it's this exact concept. It's fucking brilliant. Anyway, so you picked your parents for a specific reason. There was a certain part of you, an aspect to you, your personality that you wanted to experience, and having those parents that were going to give you the life that you had was the vehicle. And basically, your entire life is an examination of a certain part of yourself. What would that be?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Dude, you even go below.
I just don't know how to answer this, bro. It's such a hard question.
Like if I'll give you, okay, I'll answer the question. So I started thinking about it, and I said, "What has my life mostly been about?" I've suffered a lot.
Shout out to Sean, bro. He's like, I don't know what the hell this is. You walked in at the very end of this conspiracy rabbit hole we're in right now.
This is not a. First of all, it's not a conspiracy. It's not.
I think we should end it what we're thankful for. I think that's how we should.
I'd say I chose. If I had to choose, I think I chose my parents because they were even with being poor and everything else, they were some of the most giving in terms of emotional giving, especially my mom. Like me and my mom, sometimes I look back and I'm just like, damn, man, this woman like put up with a lot of shit for her son, and I saw my mom this weekend because I went to Savannah, and it's funny to see her as an older person now. And you know what? I don't know if it's like that with your culture, guys, but Amit probably knows this. She loaded me up with so much goddamn food, man. Like amazing amounts of food. Like she has a garden in the back. She's like an organic grower, so she made all this stuff. She just packed food at top of food for us, and it's one of those things that no matter what, my mom has always, no matter if she doesn't have anything, she's always been the giving type. So she will do everything she can in her world to give something back. So in her interpretation, she's like, look, money is not going to matter to you because you already have money. Other things like what? She's going to buy me an iPod or an iPhone or something. That's not going to do anything. But she knows that the food is something that only my mom can give me. That's like her, her thing.
Yep.
And so it's just a very visceral feeling. And sometimes I'm just like, don't give us so much food because a lot of it's going to go to waste. We might not eat it all. And this morning I was eating some handuo, which is like a Gujarati dish. And like the entire time I'm eating it, I'm just like, God, I still remember when I was fucking 10 years old, like in the morning time, my mom would have like this breakfast ready with this specific food and I would eat it. And that nostalgia feeling would come back. And it just goes to show that, the material things you get in life from people are not what matters. It's these experiences that come back later in life. And trust me, when my mom's not around, I'll never be able to taste that food again. And that's the part that I'm probably going to tear up right now.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, unless you've had a horrible existence, obviously, you have to choose the same path because you are who you are because of that path. So there is no going around it. You
almost deterministic versus free
you
will
have to go that way. Otherwise, you are not who you are, and everything worked out differently anyway.
Well,
I kind of understand now why my mom was teaching my wife how to make this one dish. Like now I understand. No. It's just I understand it now. Like my mom,
right? So you can enjoy it after. Yeah. Well, I went through I say up until when I was 25, when I really joined the corporate workforce. Before that, I was a blue collar guy, like working out. And I had this belief that my parents instilled in me that if you just work hard, you're going to get everything you want in life. I learned that that's not how it works when I joined corporate America. It's not about how hard you work. It's about how smart you were. It's about how you play the political game. It's about who you know. And that really determines way more your success than just being the hardworking worker bee. And so when I got into that world and I realized that in like my mid-20s, or actually my late 20s, I would say, huh, Chris?
I think he's
And he
crying.
muted himself. Good. He's talking to his wife. Yeah. He's bawling like a baby right
Damn, I don't think that question would do that. All right,
now. Dude, I do the same thing when I think about my mom. I start crying too.
Let's make Vitaly cry.
You saw Enphase in 3 weeks ago.
Right, make him cry.
I was on the airplane having so much fun, just tweeting all these stupid. Now Enphase is fucking back at $100. Go ahead.
I don't cry over stocks. That's a waste of time.
No.
The only time I cried when I learned a lesson was Bitcoin is what taught me
you told
about
me when
stocks.
Bitcoin fell, you were crying, bro.
Yeah, but I say now I don't. But back in the day, yes. When I made that massive mistake, but I never put myself in that position again. So that's not going to happen.
Anyway, my point is, I spent a lot of my early and mid 20s, even towards my late 20s, resenting my parents. I was like, why didn't you guys prepare me for like what the real world was like? Like, why did my boss have to open up a bank account for me? Why was I going to a check cashing place, cashing my checks? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys totally did not prepare me for everything. And I felt up until like my late 30s, I felt 10 years developmentally behind everybody else that I knew because my parents didn't prepare me for this. But now I'm just saying, if I'm listening to what, I'm just taking this idea that I picked my parents, well, then what was that meant to teach me? What have I learned as a result of that? And I think that if I take what she's saying, that I picked those parents who specifically gave me that upbringing, it was to make me a better parent. And so looking back now, especially now that I'm on the cusp of having number 2, I'm like, that's what I think it was all about. If I would have picked those parents, I think it was to struggle, to suffer a lot so that I can come out the other side and really appreciate what it's like to be a parent. I really appreciated being a single guy, and I really appreciated being like a good boyfriend, but there's something different about really appreciating being a father that I don't think I would have had if I didn't resent my parents for so long. And I posted this the other day when like Starship launched, that I actually like teared up because my God, every time I see that, it really gets to me. And I said it was like 20 years since I've cried. The last time that I cried was in my late 20s. I wrote a letter to my parents. It was their 25th wedding anniversary. And I felt that I had been harboring all of this resentment towards them. And I wrote it in a letter to them. I wrote them each a letter. And I went to their house and I read them this letter. And I said, I want you to know that I've been harboring this really horrible, heavy anger towards you guys for 20-something years. And I wrote all this stuff to them and I just bawled out. Crying. My mom was like, "It's fine."
Did they get it? Did they understand what you were trying to say?
Oh, no, they got it. Yeah, they got it. And my mom was like, I'm sorry. I was 17 when I had your sister, or 18. I was 21 when I had you. My dad was 23 years old. He's like, we were still trying to figure it out. There's a lot of things that we weren't prepared for. And we basically had kids when we were kids. And so she was like, I'm really sorry, and I'm like, I'm sorry too that I had this resentment. Like, I love you guys, we had a big hug. And anyway, it was a whole crazy thing. But anyway, if what she says is true, I picked the perfect parents. As much as I resented them, looking at now at a 46-year-old guy about to have my second kid, I picked the perfect parents to like teach me what that's all about. And I think my kids will say, I had a really great dad, and this YouTube channel, if it's around, they'll look back at it one day. My Twitter feed, I'll give them the password one day and they'll be able to look back and see what their dad talked about and what their dad.
Well, this is what happens when you have shitty experiences growing up. Your kids you learn from that, hopefully, and you give your kids a way better life, right?
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this got deep.
Chris.
Hugs, Chris. Dude, I feel you, man. I think about dude, there's a song called by Drake. It's called Look What You've Done. I don't know if you've ever heard it, Chris, but he's talking about his mom in that song.
By Drake.
There is. And dude, he's talking about his mom, and he's talking about how, they argue sometimes. He's talking about how she's taking painkillers, and I tear up every time I hear the song because I just think about my mom. It's very similar, in different situations.
Dude, it's like that with Kanye. Like, if you saw like a lot of the nervous breakdown that Kanye has, a lot of it is after his mom passed away.
His mom died, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, when you've been
how she passed away?
Yeah, she had she was getting like plastic surgery or something, and she died.
How sad is that?
Crazy.
Yeah. So when you've been raised by a really strong woman who's like been there to really get you to that next level, and there's no transition, or at least the transition to this other woman who's supposed to be the, like the stand-in, then you have some real fucking problems, because then you feel like you don't have that female figure that's really like grounded you. And yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I said, I'm glad I have my wife, because I'm sure that like when my mom does pass away eventually, because I mean, it's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen for like a while. You know, it's something that like I don't try to think about, but I know it's going to come. And it's funny because it's not funny, but one of my friends, his dad just passed away from a fight with cancer. And so I'm starting to get to that age where you're starting to lose parents. You know, that's the part that really gets you.
You know, I didn't say this publicly, but I told you guys a while ago, my dad had a stroke out of nowhere. And I told you guys, I was like, I might not make it to the podcast that day. And my dad is a bit estranged to my whole family. Like they don't really talk to him. He was not the best father by any means. He really didn't try to set an example. He was very authoritarian. Again, he was another incredibly alpha male. And so like my sisters and basically everybody don't really talk to him, but I keep in touch. And man, when I heard that he had the stroke and I saw the pictures with the face all distorted and the arm that couldn't move. Ah, man, I feel what you're saying, Chris. As much as this is a guy who like punched me in the face as a kid, you know, this is a guy who like was not good to me, beat the hell out of me at certain times if I did something that he didn't like. But I still was like, but he's like my dad. He's the closest DNA match to me on the freaking planet, and I want to be able to talk to him and just learn as much about how his brain is working at 70 something years old to get an idea of like how where am I going, like, you know what I mean, what's in store for me potentially, like genetically. And so it was this strange feeling when I saw him in that state, because it's hard when you see somebody who was so powerful in your life then suddenly become incredibly weak. That is really hard to deal with. My dad was this indestructible monster of a man, and now he's incredibly frail. And it's really hard to see that because I also feel like I'm this indestructible freak of nature, you know? I don't know. It made me come to terms with my own mortality in a way that I was not prepared for. But it also made me realize that once he goes, I'm next in line. Like the next, you know, me, the next in my family that's going to go is me. And I'm like, fuck, man. Damn, like life goes so fast.
One thing and this is an idea.
Yeah, Melanie, it's freaking hard, man.
Imagine right now we take this podcast, right? We take all the transcripts of it and we create a GPT, right? And that GPT now is going to be forever, right? So it's almost like you can ask KRIS Patel based on the hours and hours and hours of conversation, all the mannerisms, all the background stories, everything. You download that into one GPT, and after I pass away, there will still be a piece of me that's left, because you'll still be able to ask KRIS, like, hey, how's it going? And it could be something like my grandson or, you know, someone like 5 generations down. They could say, you know what? I want to talk to KRIS GPT, my great-great-grandfather, and they'll be able to have a conversation with me. You know, and they could actually even take my voice that I have right now.
Let me ask this question.
Wait, before you ask that, did you see that kid? Okay, you remember the game Mario Kart? If you played Mario Kart, you could you run the races, and every time it would save the highest score as a ghost that you would race around. Did you see the video of the kid whose dad had like right before his dad passed away, like 2 days before, he beat the highest score, and so the kid would race against his dad's ghost in Super Mario Kart, and he would never want to beat him. He eventually was able to beat him, but he didn't want to beat him because they would erase over his dad's ghost. Whenever he wanted to feel close to his dad, he would play Mario Kart and race his dad. Like, oh my God, I'm just like, oh God. Ugh.
One day we got to figure out how to download all this shit from YouTube, dude, and we got to put it on like some kind of storage or NAS, because just in case Google somehow fucking dies and never, I don't want to lose any of this stuff, and I want to give this eventually to like the next generation, the next generation, the next generation, so that this way, you know, they have something of me, you know, because I don't have anything of my great grandfather. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about him. I don't know his story. And then the generation after that, I definitely don't even.
Yeah, I want them to have more than just my Bitcoin.
Yeah, your fucking Bitcoin. You know, yeah, then it'll be like 5 trillion a coin by then. That's what's so ironic about it. I one thing I want to say, then I want to ask a question. I had a dream last night, and in that dream, it's probably because I took some fucking melatonin and it fucks with your dreams. I saw my grandpa. He was sitting with me on the couch.
Are you fucking around? Are you fucking around? You being serious?
No, I'm being dead serious.
Oh,
my
okay.
grandpa. I wouldn't joke about this. My grandpa died December 2022, right? And my grandpa loved me more than anything. He had dementia at an old age, and so he lived with us, like with our family inside this house. And I would come home every day after work, 2021, and I would just like give him a massage. I would just sit with him. I mean, there were some moments I didn't get to see him for 3 weeks once because I don't know what happened. I walked into the room and he just started crying. And he couldn't talk at that point. He didn't know how to talk anymore. But he was just like, "Why did you leave me? Like, why couldn't you see me?" Blah, blah, blah. And I think it's because he was at the hospital or something. But it's so I had a really special relationship with him. And he was in the dream yesterday. And we were just sitting on the couch and just watching TV. He doesn't understand anything on the TV in his old age, but we were just knowing I was there with him would help him go to sleep in those final years because he had a really hard time sleeping, bro. I mean, he would stay up all night. My dad would stay up all night helping him. So it brings up this question of death. Let's end it on this. How do you guys really think of death?
Let's end it on death.
No, seriously, because I had a podcast in 2019 called Motivated by Mortality. If anyone's interested, I still have the unlisted YouTube links. I was really thinking about death a lot at a young age. How do you guys think about it? Because it's not that you're older than me and you guys are getting closer to it. I'm now in the mid-20s. I know you guys think it's a joke. Oh, Amit's still young. Dude, I think about death too. Like I've been at the chiropractor for the past 2 years, right? Like my dad's going through a lot of health issues you guys know about privately. Death is real. How are you guys really conceptualizing the end of your existence? And is there any core thing you either want to do or think about before it's all over?
I've been trying to black it out. I try not to think about it because the more I think about it, the more like it becomes a reality. So instead of accepting it, I've just been blocking it out and just not accepting that, hey, this is a possibility. I mean, I'm sure it is a possibility in the back of my brain. I know it is, but I'm just like, maybe there will be a cure next year where some guy will come out and be like, okay, I've got the cure to life. And now everyone can live forever.
That's definitely going to happen. I mean, that's sure going to happen within our lifetime. Real quick, can you just pull up Ren 719?
Steve Jobs? Oh, no, let's see.
No, 719. Says his mom has cancer right now. My mom had cancer twice. She beat it twice. Your mom's going to be fine. Your mom can beat it. Depending on even if she had like pretty bad breast cancer and she beat it. I know a lot of people that got through it. So death, man. You know what, man? Like,
do you think about your legacy with death? Like, how are you thinking about?
For me, yeah, it's all about legacy. I've said this quote before, but I truly believe this: that they say every man dies twice. Once when your physical body dies, the second time when your name is uttered for the last time. I want to make sure that people remember my fucking name. I want my name to be said long after I'm dead. I don't care if it sounds stupid. That's something that really means something to me. It really does mean something to me to know, because I look at some of the people that I look up to that have been long dead forever. And I'm like, man, that would be such a great honor. Even though I won't be around, like that's such a great honor that there's some people, some words that these people uttered that wrote down hundreds of years ago that we still listen to today and still have value. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. So Alex is like, I'll say, yeah, because you're probably younger than me. And you say my name. Well, say it 3 times in the mirror, guys, when I'm dead, and I'm going to come haunt your ass. like
buy Bitcoin. I don't care if it's $800,000 a coin. Buy it.
Steal all your Bitcoin.
Say it in the mirror.
Vitaly, how do you think of death?
I think we already talked about this before, but I'll reiterate. Everything I've ever done has been motivated by death. Because ever since I was a kid, I knew that I was going to die. And I had to do something not to be stuck sitting at a desk for 50 years, hating every moment of it. So literally since day one, since I could basically read, I was always thinking about this, that life has to mean something more than living for somebody else and for something else than what exactly you want to do. And being remembered is part of it, actually. That's why filmmaking, I do that now, is because I feel like if I do make a film eventually, that hopefully it'll be remembered for longer than I was alive.
Yeah. That might just be like a male thing. I'm curious what women would say, like what any women in the chat would say about this. But yeah. And because I consider myself incredibly spiritual, but I am not religious at all. And I do believe that once you die, that's it. It's like you just unplug the computer. It's fucking dead. Yeah. There is no afterlife. There's no 72 virgins. There's no heaven. There's no hell.
Really? Are you sure about that part?
None of it, dude. None of it. You die and you're done. And it's like going to sleep, except you never wake up. That's honestly how I feel about it. And so I'm like, all right, I've got to make sure that I used every single minute, right? That time is an incredibly valuable resource, and it's diminishing. And it's the one thing that like you can never buy more of. So Anyway, sorry, Detra. Detra was like,
God
damn,
damn it, man, y'all-
I wanted my
we
virgin.
gotta start. This is y'all turn
This is
Thanksgiving
good, bro.
into.
Hold on. I just want to say, I did not have high.
This is Junksgiving. We end on death.
I did not think 300 people would stay here the whole night, bro, because it's not stocks, but this is our usual count that stayed. You guys actually kind of fuck with us more than just, our opinions on stocks, which is really nice to know.
Basically,
We're not
thanks
gonna
for
do it-
being alive for another year. That's what we're thankful for,
Yeah, we're thankful for life, bro. Thankful for life, bro. We saw each other in Vegas. We get to do this every like this. Like when I wake up for the market open, bro, and there's people waiting to listen to me. I'm just invigorated with energy. Like this is what this podcast is. There's people that want to hear from us, even on a tough day. We just fucking do it because you get moments like this after a year where people actually care about 4 random guys on the internet and having a deep moment. It matters. It's cool. How many people get to do that?
The answer to real
All right,
capers.
this was fun.
Real capers asked a very, very important question right now. Real capers at
Best death metal band. Okay, let's end it on that.
the best death metal
band.
band
Let's
right
do this.
now. Oh man, I'm gonna have to say, if I had to go with one,
I'm gonna go with
album,
Roses and Guns.
I'm gonna have to. Can we vote him out?
He's just
Show
doing
of hands.
Who
Who gets?
don't let him bait you. Don't let him bait you. He pretends to
I know
be
he's
this idiot.
pretending
He's pretending to be an idiot. He's not an idiot.
No, it's the roses. It's the flowers and the
No,
AK-47s, right? That's what the.
Okay,
Let's do-
first of all, name one song by Guns N' Roses. But seriously, name one song.
He doesn't know one. He doesn't know any of them.
Forever.
Meshuggah is not. Meshuggah.
Which one? What?
Forever.
Forever?
That's a common song title, right? Forever. Everyone names a song Forever, right?
No.
No, but there is a song by Guns N' Roses, honestly, and I'm not a fan of like their new stuff
Patience.
with the
Listen
new
to
band.
Patience. Okay.
Patience is okay, but have you heard
Okay.
the song from Chinese Democracy called "Better"? The song "Better,"
Probably.
bro. Listen to that. I'm serious, Vitaly.
Sweet Child
We're
of
done.
Mine. That's
No,
right.
even I'm telling you, this song "Better" is better than "Sweet Child of Mine," in my
If you
opinion.
say so.
And to answer Mike Oxhard, he asked if Meshuggah was death
Even
metal. They're
amidst
not death
danger
metal.
knows Don't Cry. Look at that.
Don't Cry is okay. It's okay.
Dude,
I'm
there's so much
telling you.
music I need to hear before I. Speaking of death, I need to listen to some fucking music. before I die.
You
All
haven't
right.
To the
lived yet.
jungle, we got games.
That's right.
Oh, I remember that song.
Or
I remember
Paradise City, which is talking about LA. Take me down.
Yeah.
Paradise City.
All
All right, Real Capers. Hold on, wait. I want to lock in my final answer.
Okay,
Real
go ahead.
Capers, best death metal band right now. If you had to just listen to one album, there's a band called The Faceless, and they did an album called Autotheism. Autotheism, the first 3 songs, basically, the first song is broken up into 3 parts, and it's 17 fucking minutes long. It is incredible. Autotheism, the Faceless, check it out. I think you'll like it. And then to answer Homeboy's question, no, Meshuggah is not a death metal band. They're actually a genre of metal called gent, and I'm not kidding when I say that, gent, because that's what the guitars sound like. Gent, gent, gent. Swear to God.
Can we end it on favorite Michael Jackson song? What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Oh,
I'm not gonna do
That's
Michael
a better
Jackson.
question.
Black
I'll
or
do
white?
Linkin Park. I'll do Linkin Park, dude. I'll do Linkin
Wait, you won't do
Park in
why
the
won't
end.
you do Michael Jackson? Why don't you do Michael Jackson?
I'm just not a fan. I'm not a big fan of Michael Jackson.
Michael
Like, I
Jackson.
don't-
Michael Jackson is great.
Michael Jackson's
Okay,
dope, bro.
let me tell you something about Michael Jackson. You know the song "Beat It"? Michael Jackson, "Beat It," "Beat It." Right?
course.
Okay, that's a good
Okay,
song. Yeah.
Do you know that
Listen to it every
Van
day,
Halen? Okay, Van
know?
Halen played a solo on that. That's the guy
Yes, he did.
playing the solo
He
on
did.
that, and that was a tapping technique. And from how I understand the story, no one knew how
Wait,
Van
let-
Halen.
Wait,
was
let's ask
making-
Ahmed. What band is Van Halen in?
He doesn't know that.
Hold on, don't say it. Don't say it.
Molly Crew.
No, it's the trick question.
It's not.
Van
No, no,
Halen.
It's not Pink Floyd, right?
Van Halen, you idiot. Van Halen.
Oh shit!
Doing.
Oh my god. Okay.
Anyway, the point is, he did this like tapping technique, and from what I understand, like
They're in Metallica.
whenever the solo would come on, he would turn his back to the audience and he would play the solo like nobody knew what he was doing. And this was like, I mean, that's how unbelievable that song is. That like Van Halen played like fucking tapping solo on it, and like nobody knew that guitar technique. Oh,
Van
God.
Halen is in Van Halen. That's great. All right.
In the
Happy
end,
Thanksgiving,
he did real
everybody.
good.
We
Yeah,
learned
in the
about
end-
death and
In the
life
end, it's a great song.
and ex-girlfriends. There you go.
This is wait, Vitaly, what's your you have beat it? I like Billie Jean. Billie Jean is awesome. I like the Dangerous. The Bad album is probably the best. Dangerous is second. Thriller's the GOAT, but Thriller's probably third to me.
I'll take the wild card here, but I think the best Michael Jackson song is "Smooth Criminal."
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Fire, dude. Fight me right now. What's better than fucking "Smooth Criminal"?
What's Smooth Criminal? I haven't.
What, Chris?
No, I'm sure. No. I haven't heard it in a while. If I hear it,
are you okay, Chris?
Hold on.
Good.
I'm trying.
Alien Ant Farm did a.
Oh, yeah, I know
they did a remake of it. They did a remake that was kind of like a metal. So anyway, that was a
good song.
All right, we're out, everybody. We're not live tomorrow. Spend time with your family. Don't be on YouTube. Enjoy the day, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, happy
By the way,
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Whoever said in the chat, Kid Cudi, Day and Night. That's my favorite Kid Cudi song. Love that song.
Cool.
Metallica Shortest Straw is pretty good too.
Master of Puppets.
You know what? You want to know what Metallica song? I sat here all day and I was like, I don't think we have actually taken the time to fully appreciate how incredible the musicianship and how mature the songwriting is in Battery, the first song on Master Puppets.
You know about Duracell?
AMIT, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Like the ones downstairs, the AAA.
Go watch the Matrix, fucking Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, you gotta disappear for like a week.
Just talking about
Godfather. Watch the trilogy.
Take a week off and just watch.
Damage Inc. is a better
every
song,
good movie, every good album. Just go through all of that stuff.
Built to last, Duralast.
Oh boy,
Benji, Damage Inc. is a great fucking song, but Battery is just look, and I'm a drummer.
Energizer Bunny.
That album just blew me away. Like literally, I heard Master Puppets, I heard Battery, and I immediately went out to Sam Ash and bought a double bass pedal. Because before that, I was like single bass pedal. I was like, okay, I got to do what this guy's doing. And like that song Battery took me forever to learn how to play. It's so good. But just I'm telling myself, these guys were 17 years old. Like 17 years old, 18 years old, writing this music. It was incredibly mature, but on that song specifically, like Master Puppet's great, but Battery has something else going on. I was actually thinking about that today as I was painting. I was like, fucking, let's not even get into Tool. I gotta go before we don't get me into Tool. We'll be here for another 2 hours.
Right, off that same album is actually one. I really got into that.
No, that's Justice for All.
Oh, it's Justice for All. Okay.
That album, remember that album that had no bass? There was no bass guitar on that album. Okay,
I don't remember it offhand.
Jason Newsted was
fired.
No, Jason Newsted was the replacement for Cliff Burton, who died in the bus accident after Master of Puppets.
Right.
They hated Jason Newsted so much that even though he recorded the bass line,
they took it off
on Justice for All, they released the album with no audible bass.
Wow,
it was horrible.
That's kind of,
and it was horrible for him.
Wow.
It's horrible. So if you listen to the album, it's like it was considered one of the worst mixed albums of all time. This is And Justice for All by Metallica. Now, 20 years later, someone got hold of the bass tracks and released the album, and they called it And Jason for All.
Oh wow.
And you can listen to it with fucking bass.
Is that on YouTube? I gotta check that out.
Look up And Jason for All and listen to the whole thing. You can actually hear what he was fucking playing.
And was it terrible?
No, he was great, man. He was a great.
I think they just hated that their friend died, and they had to put somebody else in the band.
They said it. They said it in the movie. Some kind of monster that like they took out all of the frustrations of Cliff dying basically on him.
Right. That's kind of
not. Cliff Burton was much more of like a glue that held that band together than people thought it was like Hetfield and Ulrich. Burton was like Orion, like that was him. He wrote that bass line, and so when they lost him, they lost like a piece of their.
They lost a part of there, right? Yeah.
And so when this guy came in trying to like be like him, I think they gave him a lot of shit for a long time, and he put up with it. But then that was, I think, the final, or one of the final straws that you won't even release it with.
All right, cool. I will listen to this tonight. I am curious.
Yeah, And Jason for All.
Awesome. All right, guys. Later. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone. Good night.